Welcome to my blog. Today I want to talk about the Me Too movement, the sexual harassment movement. It all got started when Harvey Weinstein, the big shot producer out of Hollywood, he got caught. It turned out that he for 20 years have been extracting sexual favors for women in Hollywood, trying to get a role in his movies, trying to work on his sets. And it turned out that he was more interested in getting sexual favors for them than having them on the movies. And it's good that guy, he got caught. You know, he certainly abused his power over women to get sexual favors. The next shoe to drop was Bill Cosby. Turned out that he too extracted sexual favors and was forcing himself for women during his 25-year career in Hollywood. He portrayed himself as the soft family fatty in the Cosby Show. Turned out he was nothing like that. And it's good for our society to get bad guys like that bankrupted, get bad guys like that in prison. And remember, it's not easy for a woman might be poor or upcoming star, or to raise accusation against big powerful men like this. So I applaud that they got successful in getting the bad guys, getting stuff like that weeded out. But now, to me, following the Me Too movement the last 6 months, this thing have gotten way out of hand. The last case that I seen was today. I opened my computer and I saw a case about Tom Frieden. He was the head of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control under Obama's administration. Turns out that he had a dinner, he had a get together in a weekend. He had family and friends over. They probably had some wine when the evening was over. Said their goodbyes, and this lady, he gave her a hug. He known the lady for 20 years, said goodbye, and he pinched her butt. What did the lady do? She didn't complain, she didn't say no, she didn't slap him in the face. She went down to the Brooklyn Police Department and reported it as a crime. And to my astonishment, the police, they took it seriously. They took all the notes, and they charged the guy with 3 counts of sexual harassment. They picked him up at his house. They handcuffed him with his hand behind his back. And the journalists were there, so now he's in public shame. So to me, I figured there must be something more to this case. This just can't be true. This is out of something crazy. It can't be. But I looked into it. He did nothing more than that. The guy, he have no record. No other have come forward. All he did, he hugged a woman goodbye that he knew for 20 years. He pinched her butt. That's it. Now the guy, he is being hung out as a Me Too perpetrator, like a bad guy who someone who harasses women. And so this have gone way overboard. How can our police department take something like that seriously? To me, it's an evidence that the society have gone way overboard, and nobody have the guts to say, this is it, calm down. How can a police department pick up a guy, handcuff him? What are they afraid of? Why are they handcuffing a guy like that? Charge him with 3 counts. All he did to a friend that he knew for 20 years was to pinch her butt. He had no power over this lady. She wasn't an employee of him. Just a guest at a dinner party. The whole thing is completely crazy. Of course, I hope that this case will get so much media exposure. I hope somebody will speak up so we can get this whole thing swept away. And I hope the police department of Brooklyn is being told, you know what, you gotta focus on what matters. This just can't be true. I feel sad inside my stomach to see things go overboard like that. It is destroying our country, stuff like this. A case like this coming out in the media, a guy like Tom Frieden, apparently a very nice and successful guy who did nothing wrong in my mind, when he can be exposed like this, when his life can get destroyed like this over nothing, you're crossing a line, and that line is me as a man. I have a business. Next time I'm hiring, if I have a position, I get 5 people coming, let's say one of them is a woman, and she seems equally as skillful as the other guys, I would never hire her. Why would I hire a woman? What if she makes up that I patted her butt? Will they come take me away in handcuff, charge me with 3 counts of sexual harassment? So this won't hurt me as a man. It'll hurt the woman. Because next time I am hiring, I'm not hiring a woman because it's too risky. And by risk, I mean it's too expensive. I cannot afford to hire a woman because of the risk involved in it. So what cases like this does, it degrades women, and women who is hardworking, who's try their best to get ahead, their chances of advancing in this society will just get lesser and lesser the more the Me Too movement gets moving. The Western world, we got big, we got rich, we got the world power by having flexibility, by having ingenuity, and by moving fast instead of the concrete, slow-moving communist systems we saw in the East. All that is disappearing and stuff like this. Nobody dares to do anything any longer. You know, God forbid if somebody works overtime, they're gonna sue you. If something happens to them on their job, you know, they fall and slip, they're gonna sue you. Now they can come up that you pinched their butt, get you indicted for 3 counts of sexual harassment. Who knows, maybe get you to jail, but your record is done. You're done as a person, you know. We are moving towards a society that I don't recognize. This is not the societies that built our world, that built the world we are living in, the Western world, America and Western Europe. This is completely crazy. I've been in China for 4 years of my life too, and believe me, I know how it is over there. They are not dealing with BS like this. Over there now, at least on the business level, on the floor, out in the field, you know, where things happen, not the government offices, but, you know, there's a dynamic, there's a progression, you know. People, they run around, they work, they interact, you know. Nobody is afraid of anybody getting sued, you know, for overtime, for undertime, for sick leave, for sexual harassment. In China, they have the dynamic, the flexibility right now. And you guess what? China, they are advancing like this, and we are going nowhere. And this Me Too movement, the overreaction of the Me Too movement, is just another nail in the coffin for the Western free society. Meanwhile, here in the West, we waste all our resources with the human resource department, the police departments, follow cases like this, attorneys, judges, you know, because somebody got pinched in their butt at a dinner party. She wasn't even an employee. He had no power over this woman. The whole thing is completely crazy. The worst part about it is, it's like a mirror of what's going on in society. You know, why don't we focus on the bigger picture any longer? We need the flexibility. We need the ingenuity. We need the freedom to move, to operate, to think, to produce. We don't have that any longer. When a case like this can get exposure, when a guy, Tom Frieden, can be carried away in handcuffs in front of his family, you know, where is this country going? Where are we as the Western world moving? I think it's time that we sit down, have a long conversation with ourselves. What is it that we want in this world? What kind of society is this? This is turning into an almost reverse Orwellian society where you can't do anything just out of fear that somebody's gonna hit you back. You know, shame on this woman, and shame on the police department. And what I'm urging here is respect the real rape victims, respect the woman who got raped, who got sexually abused, respect those. A case like this and many cases that we see just diminishes these poor women who got exploited. That's all for today. Thank you very much.